my gosh. Hey guys. So today I just wanted to do a quick video about safety precautions that we take with the kids, either in the home or outside the home. Because with autism, and I mean even young kids in general, they can't always discern if a situation is safe or dangerous. They're, especially with autism though, more likely to run, elope. And even when you teach them that something is dangerous, they may still go and do it. What do you have to say?
First of all, I just teach these kids to doing what you're bending ways. Allie doing, Allie doing, Allie doing, Allie doing. It's like it's like, oh, I'm bending. I just I was kibble over it. I was 10%.
That's what you have to say?
Yeah. So when you just look at it, you guys are gonna do it.
Okay. You're so crazy. But yeah, so I'll take you on the tour around the house to show you some of the locks and other safety mechanisms that we have in the house for the kids. Some that we've used that we don't have anymore include the baby gate that I talked about before. You're ridiculous. I know in a previous video I talked about having a baby gate at the end of the hall. So we have a little short hallway, and all of the 3 bedrooms and the bathroom, the main bathroom, are just in that hallway. So we put a nice tall gate at the end of it, and so that not only kept Hiddo, that was the meltdown video, not only kept Hiddo from like coming out into the living area where everyone else was whenever he was trying to get through a meltdown, but it also was a safety feature for like bedtime. We could leave all the bedroom doors open when we fell asleep, and then we could hear them rattling the gate whenever they woke up, so nobody could go out into the living room and do whatever. It also helped if like I needed to just put away laundry or clean up, or I wanted to keep all the kids in one area, either in the front or the back. We had the gate there so that they aren't dispersed throughout the house, and I could see where they were at all times. With autism, like it really, some kids are so severe that they need to be watched constantly. So constant one-on-one attention, which isn't always possible when it's 3-on-1. Mommy's outnumbered. Hi, Hannah.
Hey.
And speaking of sleep, so another thing that we've done to keep the kids safe when sleeping is that, I know not everyone agrees with co-sleeping, but that's what we do. We've co-slept since they were born, and just as the kids grew older, yes, we tried to get them in their own room, but then we realized that they wander at night, they wake up, they dig through things, they dig through their own diapers, and so we just, for the most part, one of us will stay in the room with the kids sleeping, especially the boys sleeping in one room, and so that we could hear when they stir or wake up or anything like that, so that they don't get into trouble, they don't break anything, they don't wander off. They've just recently been able to unlock windows also, so we need to put additional locks on those.
Your great you try to hey, you see,
Are you done? Okay. Another thing that we've done is that we made it a point not to get any really tall dressers. This is the tallest dresser that we have, but in the toy room, it's a low dresser, so it's like something that's wider base, not as tall, so not as likely to tip over. Because even if we anchored things in our house, the drywall stinks. Like our entire shelving unit in the closets have come out because nothing holds in our drywall, or even if we hit a stud, it still comes out. So we just try to get furniture that they can't really tip over. That was another reason why in the living room we put in the hanging shelf system, so that it's not another bookcase that they could possibly tip over or pull out of a wall as easily. Our tall bookshelves in the living room, even recently they've tried to climb. They're climbers. So we're really on them about that that's not safe. But even Carmela, who's never really been a climber, is trying to climb now. Of course. Don't show your belly. Hold on. That's another one that we need to put locks on some of the closets, because they dig all the time.
So we had to like spot. So we had to too. Like, yeah. So we had this car to me. It's like a Benny. You wanna look at that? Look how you goody.
Another thing that we did was like outlets. They could pull those little outlet plugs out very easily, even at an extremely young age. And so it was a choking hazard for one. Even when we had the plugs in the outlets, it actually attracted their attention and they wanted to see what it was and they wanted to pull it out and play with it. So just not having outlet covers actually worked better for us. They aren't intrigued by the outlets or try to put anything in the outlets, as long as there isn't already something in the outlet. Things like sharps, knives, scissors, they really still don't get how dangerous they can be. So we've always made a point to put those on either a really high shelf, a really high cabinet. So now Hiddo climbs onto the counters and digs in the cabinet. So we need to find a new place for all of that. I don't know where else to put my kitchen knives though. Or we hide them in the garage, which is locked from the inside, or Matt's,
He took his stuff.
my husband's man cave is also a key locked door, so we can hide some of the sharps in there, or anything else that we don't want the kids to break or get into. So I'll take you on a tour right now and show you some of the locks that we've used on the doors and the cameras that we use. So starting with the front door, we have just your regular deadbolt. Then I ended up having to add this little sliding lock, but Hiddo was able to reach that pretty quickly and could unlock it. And he actually opened it up and let Eva out the front door recently. So then I added this third lock up here, chain. They can't get to that, but it doesn't really work too well because Hiddo can still open up these two locks when someone's at the door, and I guess slim enough where I can stick my hand through the door when it's open with this attached, and I can unlatch it from the outside. So we'll have to figure out something else to do.
Can you see?
You want to see? Hi.
All right. I use Bendy. So today.
Is Bendy the one who causes all the trouble?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Here's it. Next month we had to fuss.
Matt's man cave, and his door requires an actual key to get in. So we keep sharp things in there so the kids can't get to it that way. The back door, just your two standard locks. And then we ended up adding this one, and the kids really still can't get that one unlatched because it's really hard. So that one works so far, but we're probably gonna have to add another one. I think I'll add something on top so it'll last a lot longer. The garage door also just had the two locks, but this one was turned around, so both locks locked from the inside. So I turned around the deadbolt, so now we have to have a key to get in and out of the garage, so the kids can't go in there and mess with any tools. The kitchen cabinets came with these locks when we moved in, so those worked very well, but they've broken off of some of the cabinets, and that cabinet just completely came off the hinges. Thanks, kids. But yeah, they came off, it broke, so. But we still have it for the chemical cabinet, and the kids cannot get into those. Are kid accessible. Like, this is up to my waist, and they can open these locks. So we need to figure out something else to do for the windows. I'm thinking probably an alarm and a bar to go here. And we also have in the kids' bedroom, the toy room, and the living room, we have these cameras, which are really good in low light conditions. They have a night vision. They have a two-way walkie-talkie kind of feature. Hi.
Hi.
This room is a mess again.
No.
I'm in the middle of going through all of the kids' clothes to change over to winter because we're actually going to have some nights hit into the 30s this week. Amazing. So outside of the house, some of the safety measures that we've taken, we've never gotten any like GPS, Angel Sense, any of those. We were thinking about getting some kind of tags that would have their names or wrist, like bracelets, safety, like alert bracelets, things like that, that would actually have their information on it. I just haven't gotten around to getting any of those. I know there's ones that have like query codes that you can scan and it'll give all of the child's information. I really want something with a GPS tracker.
Stay here, I'll be right back.
Okay. But we haven't gotten around to figuring out which GPS tracker that we can get or how we would get them to wear it. They take off necklaces all the time. They don't wear lace-up shoes. A lot of times they don't have pockets, so I don't know how we would get them to wear any of the safety like tracking devices. But what we have done is, for the boys especially, we used a double stroller, like a sit and stand stroller, for as long as we could until they reached the max limits. I didn't care that people were telling them that they're too old to ride in a stroller. I would explain whenever someone made a snide comment about how it's for their safety. They kept them in one place. It kept them from running off from me, especially when I was alone with them. Once they were getting too big for the stroller, though, that's when we got the wagon that you saw. It has 2 3-point harnesses on either side that we can lock them in there. They still can't open those, so that works out for us. So in case they're having like a really bad time and I need to contain one of them, I can do that and they can't get out of the wagon. Hello, hello. Oh no!
Next, so what do you want to state? I want to kill you to this.
That's not nice to say.
If it ain't another people, no boy. Hurts.
It's a space portal. Hi, Carmen. Come here, come here, come here. Can you say hi? Can you say hi? Can you say hi at all? Hi. Look, look.
Hi.
We didn't keep Hito in a harness seat as long as we probably should have because he ended up unbuckling his belt multiple times while we were driving. That first year that he was in just a booster seat with a seatbelt. So for Carmelo, we're trying to keep him in a harness seat as long as possible. He's really small, so that helps. I know that there are like straps that can go on seat belts that will alert first responders that the person has autism, nonverbal, or may not be able to communicate as well. So we're looking to get some of those. You're ridiculous. You're gonna poke yourself in the eye. There you go. Another thing we do when we're out of the house, even if we had like the stroller, the wagon, anything, we try not to leave the house with just one adult. So that's why we make it a point to go grocery shopping on days when I have the therapist. So it's like a one-on-one for each child. I take care of Eva, and the boys' therapist take care of them and keep track of them. And yeah, it's any more than like just the one child that you're taking care of, and they just, if one decides to just run off, you can't leave the other child in place. Like that happened. Hito was a really bad eloper when Carmelo was just an infant. And so I take them out together because it's just, you know, it's normal for a parent to take out their two children, right? It shouldn't be too difficult. But Hito would end up running from me, and I have Carmelo in a basket or something, like strapped in to a basket, and I can't run with a basket after him. So I'm like, it takes a couple of seconds to unhook him from the cart and then chase after Hito and track him down. So really, we've always tried to not leave the house with any less than like 2 adults if we have all 3 children. Or if it's only me, I usually just only will take 1 child out of the house by myself. It's extremely rare that I would take 2 or even all 3 children out by myself. I don't think that Matt has ever tried to. And that's just another thing we have to think about is that, yeah, I can't take all of the kids out by myself. It's just how we live. Especially for Carmelo, I've been thinking probably be good for him when we're out and about is to have some kind of backpack that has a snap on the front, since he can't undo those snaps. And that way we can hold on to the backpack instead of having to physically hold on to him, since he pulls away from touch sometimes. So that may be something that I need to get soon. So that if he's like walking, we could just hold on to like the top handle of the backpack. Yes, we'd love to get an autism service dog, but I don't see, like, finance-wise how we could ever afford one. I know there's a lot of grants, but it's like you have to do fundraising anyway. And the kids are getting too old to even go on to wait lists for them. I know a lot of them have a cutoff of age 7, and Carmelo is almost there. Hito's already past that. So I don't know if a service dog is ever in our future, but we'll have to see. Some other safety things that I can think about are how we've changed our lifestyle because of the kids. We try not to have any open flames anywhere in that house, so I have candles for emergencies only, but I don't have any candles or open flames around the house. Like, we used to love nice smelling candles, and I won't even do that like on a high shelf anymore because they try to get to it. They're attracted to fire. It's the same thing whenever like we go to a bonfire or just have a campfire or anything like that, or the grill going. The kids can't go outside because they try to get to the fire. For Carmelo also, one thing that I have to make sure with him is not to have any long cords or strings hanging around. So even like the cords for window coverings, I have to put up above the window because he likes to wrap things around his neck. So any long toys, any toys where it's like a pull cord, I've had to get rid of those or cut the string because he would always try to put things around his neck, even in front of us. So I knew I couldn't leave him alone with toys like that. Or any toys that can be pulled apart, small pieces, even though he's 6, and you know, choking hazard, small pieces for 3-year-olds. He will still stick everything in his mouth. He will bite toys apart. So I try to make sure that all of the toys that he has available to him all the time can't be swallowed easily or pulled apart to pieces where they could be swallowed. So anything with small parts, Legos, a lot of small toys, even like animals, because they're plastic and he likes to chew on plastic. They can only play with those kinds of things when we're in the room, and then they go back up on a high shelf where they cannot reach them. So I have a lot of things that are stored on high shelves, pencils, pens, all of those are stored on a shelf where they don't have access to them at any given time unless they ask for it. You guys are nuts.
Hi.
Another thing I do in the kitchen is that I make sure to almost always use the back burners because the kids might touch the stove and burn themselves. Hito has, Eva has, Carmela never has, thankfully. I have to stay in the kitchen whenever the oven's on because the door doesn't lock, and he has multiple times tried to climb onto the oven and hold on to the door when it's unlatched. So I always am standing right there so I can catch him or tell him not to grab onto it. So yeah, those are just some of the main precautions that I can think about that we've done inside the house and outside the house, especially for the boys. Hi. Because you guys are crazy, huh? Yeah.
I killed Eva, just like...
Don't kill Eva. They're so crazy. So let me know down in the comments below what are some of the safety precautions that you take for your children, whether they have autism or not. What are some of your tips for parents to keeping their kids safe? Because you know, kids are trying 100 times a day to find ways to hurt themselves. Huh, Hito?
Thanks so much. Don't go to click
subscribe.
Thanks so much. Don't go to click subscribe. Channel subscribe. Bye. And you man. And you say subscribe. Bye.
Oh my gosh. What are you doing? Shelby Bunny. Hi, Eva. Apparently, it's time to go wrestle the kids. Bye. Stop it! You're crazy! Oh my gosh!
Bye. You want memory? You want drawings? You want ancient? You subscribe and bye. And you lose ancient. Subscribe, bye. Oh, I get you.
Oh my gosh, they had too much energy! Really? Oh no! The dog broke loose! Your dog broke loose! There, the leash was fixed. Oh, now you broke it again. And you're a kitty cat? You really are. Look at, oh my gosh, child.
What is a cat? What can you?
You're nuts. Eva. Ugh.
Are you nuts?
What are you doing? You're in character.
I used to say this is nice. These IMAX.
We're just prepping to get a dog. That's all this is.
This is call. I could call you Max. Max. I just saw this is nice. What the heck? Come on, let's go, boy. Let's go, boy. Alright, let's see, we're here. I'll get to the dog. Come here, boy.